Recording is in progress. Hello, everybody. Daryl Snyder, Fantasy Sports Logic. Happy Monday, August 14th. I'll be doing this solo. Brandon is still on assignment. He's on his way back home. He will be with us tomorrow. This is our daily Deeper Dive podcast in conjunction with Ballpark Pal. They provide us 5 charts now, and they're also one of our 7 daily projection providers inside the Contrarian Edge Optimizers. So we got a nice slate this evening. I don't think it's that large. I was looking earlier. It is how many game slate? It is a nice 8-game slate, which includes my Giants against Tampa Bay Rays. First time they've met in a long time, I think. So excited for that game. Last now, pitching against the Giants that struck out 17 times yesterday against the pitchers of what team are they playing? They led 1-0. Webb had a shutout, 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th, he allowed a double. It was a Texas Rangers third game of that Bruce Bochy reunion series. He allowed a 2-out double. They brought in Duvall, who gave up a grounder in the hole at short. Brandon Crawford tried to make a spectacular play. Martinez, the guy that had doubled, ended up never stopping, rounded third and scored the tying run, gut-wrenching. And then the Giants, 2 outs, bottom of the 10th, after giving up a run to the Rangers, were down 2-1, and Patrick Bailey stepped in and smoked a liner barely to the left of the car sign in Oracle Park. Have you ever seen a car sign that sticks up above the fence, sometimes knocking down what could be home runs, but cleared it to the left, and Giants salvaged what would have been a crazy loss. So thought I would share that with you. Let me show you what happened over the weekend with the stack attack mode. My Twitter account, you go to twitter.com/FS, or actually F Sports Logic. You'll see our Twitter page. Just started to promote it, not a lot of following, maybe less than 50. But look what happened last couple of days. Stack attack, small stakes contest, played a max 150 in the 50 cent on Saturday. Nice return. Locked in a couple pitchers and faded a couple teams and let the auto stack do its thing. $611.50. Nice return on 75. And then yesterday I was brave. I played a max 150 in the afternoon. Again, stack attack mode. You can see nice $449.12 return on 150. So got to throw in a disclaimer. What we provide you is a lot of education and edutainment. We don't guarantee anything. Because I did this doesn't mean I will do it again, nor does it mean you will. If you do something like this, same sort of situation, but it shows it is possible. So what I did is I used a combination of the charts with the optimizer, and we just added that feature not too long ago. We're actually ready for prime time. I will show you that after we get into the chart. So here we go. I'll post, well, if you're watching this, it's already posted. I put this out on Twitter this morning and LinkedIn. This is for Monday, August 14th. As I said, nice little 8-game slate. He gives us a home run report, a fantasy report, a pitching preview for starters, a nice little weather guide here that was recently added, and then the stadium report. Hopefully you saw that. Going back to it. Let's start with the home run report. This is not unusual. Ohtani projected against Max Scherzer to pat. 45%. He'll hit a home run in Texas against Scherzer. Scherzer's great picture. He was picked up at the trade deadline. One of his weaknesses is he gives up a lot of long balls. He was leading the league, so that's not surprising. Scherzer could strike out double digits, but allow 2 or 3 Gomers, Ohtani, favorable matchup of 6% boost. Park is pretty neutral for Ohtani today, but 25% overall boost. An Astro, Jordan Alvarez against Garrett of the Marlins. Nice little almost 24% boost, 13% matchup. Against Garrett, little neutral, down 5%. In the park there at in Miami. This guy, Zach, has been on attack for the A's. He's been on the charts the last couple of days. He's doing well. Got another boost today against the Cardinal pitcher, Mikolas. 23% to hit a home run, 17% matchup boost, and the park in St. Louis is neutral. On the other side of that game, Gorman for the Cardinals against J.P. Sears, a lefty for the A's. See a 21, almost 22% boost for home run and a nice matchup, righty-lefty matchup there for Gorman against Sears. And then a Ranger, Corey Seager, in that game against Patrick Sandoval of the Angels with a nice 21.7% boost. Pretty neutral matchup against the pitcher. The Park's playing neutral as well. Some other solid matchups. Garcia for the Rangers in that same game. Drury, another guy with some pop for the Angels against Scherzer. Aaron Judge started to play like Aaron Judge can play. Injured part of the year. And then another. Got a 3-player projected to pop against Scherzer today. Scherzer's the second highest projected pitcher, I believe. We'll get to that in the optimizer, but there is some danger in those Angel bats against Max today. And then another Yankee, Giancarlo Stanton. Always a threat today. Favored. Doesn't look like a lot of negative boost, but they, meaning Aaron at Ballpark Pal, run 3,000 simulations of any given game. And this is the results of the 3,000. Here's a nice daily fantasy report. Got by position, 3 of the top players projected. Except for pitcher and outfield, he gives us 9. Christian Walker of the D-backs, followed by Goldsmith and Olsen. Olsen has 107 RBIs for Atlanta already in that powerful Braves lineup. There's our man Zach atop the second base options with Kim from the Padres and Gorman we just talked about. Hayes has been playing well for the Pirates as of late, projected to be the top and third base. The blue is projected FanDuel. The green is for DraftKings today. Another Diamondback leading off, Perdomo, with a nice projection. And this guy is starting to appear almost daily. Bobby Witt Jr., up and coming, I believe I can say superstar for the Royals. He number two, projected to perform at shortstop, followed by Seager. Catcher Rodriguez Alvarez, a young catcher for the Mets in Raleigh. Nice, solid backstop for the Mariners. Designated hitter Andrew McCutchen. I see Reynolds, McCutchen, and Sawinski. If your eyes shift to the right, 3 Pirates forming what could be a stack, and the stack attack mode plans for today. There's Ohtani and Jordan again. Here are the pitchers. I said Scherzer was the second. It looks like he is the top projected pitcher through the simulations of Ballpark Pal. Almost 23 points for DraftKings, followed by Glasnow against those Giants that striking out way, way too much. Probably have to play Glasnow against my G-men tonight. Breed, a couple of nice starts off the DL. I think the first start was a little better than the second one. And then Darvish here in San Diego facing a pretty potent Oriole team who pulled one out against the Mariners yesterday, but not sure of that one. He's projected at 16 points. Would say, what would I say? Go there at your own risk. Some of the other pitchers, Mikolas, Gilbert, Garrett, Framber, Valdez for the Astros, and Singer for those Royals. So we'll go out. You said, Scherzer, you got three guys projected to pop against him, right? With home runs and matchups today. So why would he be projected as the top pitcher? Well, one thing good about Scherzer and guys like Glass now, Scherzer specifically, he does give up the long ball, but he strikes out a lot of players in pitching. As long as you're not knocked out early in the game, you rack up 8, 9, 10 or more strikeouts, it can overcome giving up a few home runs, 2 or 3 with nobody on. So that does make sense. Be interesting. We will see tomorrow how that played out. In the outfield, Corbin Carroll, very solid Diamondback player, projected number 1. Pham, another Diamondback, came over from the Mets and trade deadline. And then a couple of Pirates, as I mentioned before. Lefty Swinsky, always pretty potent against a righty. And then Reynolds, of course, never to be left out of almost any chart, is Acuna for the Braves. And then you got Nick Jones, probably the most solid Rockies player at the time. They battled the Dodgers yesterday, came back and tied them at 3, and then lost 7-3, I think. And then there's Garcia and Guerrero to round it out. Let's go into the starting pitcher preview. Again, only 8 games, 16 possible starters. There's an opener for the Giants, Ryan Walker, that I know, won't go more than, he's projected 3.5 innings. That's probably his max against those Rays that are minus Wander, Franco, and whatever's going on there. I won't go too much into that because I think it's still to be determined, but I don't think was on the plane or the flight into San Francisco for some reasons that you can probably explore if you Google his name. These are overall grades, these 2. These 3 are the last 5,000 pitches of the preferred pitch for each pitcher. Framber Valdez, you can see his sinker. It throws almost 50% of the time, and it's not grading well. But if he stays with the cutter and that might be the changeup. His changeup and his cutter grade excellent. Projected to go almost a quality start, 6 innings, allow 3 runs, almost 6 strikeouts. The other side of the equation, Garrett for the Marlins. Same thing. Problem with his sinker. Real problem. Those are a third of the time. Looks like it doesn't pull. Oh, it doesn't sink. Much as he'd like it to sink. Maybe start it a little lower in the zone. I'm not a pitching coach. His slider, nice. Looks like it slides. What are they starting to call those sliders now? It'll come to me. There's a new term that all of a sudden all the announcers are talking about, like a sweeper. It's a sweeper slider. It sweeps in instead of slide. Oh, that's his change. Oh, I'm sorry, no, that's his slider. And then his curveball. That's the FC, on which I'm giving it these right. FC is a cutter. I'm sorry, his cutter isn't cutting. It's an F. So still nice projections. Almost 6 strikeouts, 5 innings, less than 3 runs. So that game could be interesting for pitchers. Carrasco, he has been getting hammered frequently. You can see by the grades, 4-seam fastball an F, slider an F. He sticks with his changeup. That's his best pitch. A little over 4 strikeouts. We're going to go to Glass now against the Giants. As I said, not surprising, 8 strikeouts. I would be shocked if he didn't get double digits against the Giants. They are swinging and missing a lot. I would think it's one of the worst years they've had for strikeouts unbelievably, they're with an anemic offense. They're 1.5 games ahead in the wild card race with a second position. So a test to the pitching on that, like Webb yesterday, 1 run or no runs, still 2 outs in the ninth, and then he was charged with the guy on second, which was, I mean, he's had a great year. But so Glass now, I mean, look at him. He grades excellent all the way across, projected almost 6 innings, just a little over 2 runs, and 8 strikeouts. Scherzer's going to probably be a little better there. He is a little more, 8.3 versus 8.2 in strikeouts. Grades out pretty well across the board. A plus, B minus, and then the sliders, the only pitch that little tough form right now. That might be what he's hanging, right? Gives up some of those home runs. Other 2 excellent grades, change and 4-seam fastball. So nice chart. A lot of people use it for not only daily fantasy teams to select for their plays, as I do. I use this data in correlation with the stack attack mode, which I'll be doing again today. I did yesterday and the day before. Also for best for prop plays. Drafters has a nice prop play area. That's one of our partners. There are other prop play sites, Prize Picks, Underdog, Sleeper. They become really popular, and people ask us, you know, how you can figure out whether to play more or less. And this information will help you. Also, if you go to ballparkpal.com, it's got a lot more. A lot of good stuff there. Here's the daily weather report guide. You can see, you see these little symbols down here. This is how you understand them. I doubt if anything's 55 degrees. That's normally earlier or later in the year, unless sometimes maybe Oakland or Oracle. If a front has blown in, it's a nice, beautiful day with the yellow, 76, 82, a little hotter with the orange, and then sweltering above 90 with the red. These are the wind bars, 1 bar 5 to 9, a couple of bars 10, 14, 3 bars 15 plus. And then humidity gives you better carry as a green H, not so good with the orange or dark red H. I guess that's dark red. And then barometric pressure, millibars, worse for carry if it's above, and better for carry if it's below. So as a low pressure center would get closer, that normally takes the barometric pressure down. That could give you some weather background, but we'll save that for another podcast. And that's for domes, roof closed, and then wind out to right. The pink, started to see some pink, nothing today, but that would mean there's a risk of rain delay or postponement. If you see pink on any of the stadiums, looks like everything's pretty safe today. Coors Field, they're back playing after the Rockies have been on the road against the D-backs. Always, unless it's early in the year, at the top of the projected charts with the altitude, of course, 27% run boost, 21% home run boost, 24% double and triple boost, and 9% singles boost. Next on the line is Kauffman Stadium. Either plays, that's interesting. Look at Kauffman. You got 5% in runs, but 28% down boost in home runs, which normally means as you look to the right of that, but there's got to be a boost somewhere to get those runs in, and it's doubles and triples and singles. So it's guys like Bobby Witt that you saw projected could have a nice doubles and triples day, as well as Perez, the catcher. There's a few bats in that lineup that's have been heating up. Winds are across, blowing, kind of favoring things out to right with 2 bars. It's like 2 bars, but 10 to 14. Both those stadiums, super hot in Atlanta. Not surprising. You dog days of August. Winds blowing in. Temperatures in the 90s. Yankees and those powerful Braves, right? Pretty neutral with the third better projected park. The rest are either neutral, as City Field is with the Mets, even though you got winds blowing 10 to 14 out to left. Neutral across, but home runs 16%. So that means of the total, interesting to decipher, the over under for today is a 16% that's attributed to home runs, which may be where you want to look at guys like Alonso, right? He's a monster home run hitter. Lindor. That's why you saw three Pirates, if you remember. Swowinski, Reynolds, and Andrew McCutcheon. Busch Stadium in that A's game, we saw Zach in there. We saw, I believe, Goldsmith. Winds pretty strong. Interesting. Strong out to right, in excess of 15 miles an hour. Bright, sunshiny day in Busch Stadium. Something to look at there. Oracle Park always plays favoring the pitchers. You can see 20% down boost in home runs. Tampa Bay Giants, again, glass now. I mean, for the Giants to stay in this game, they're going to have, they have one of the better bullpen game records in the league. Walker, Manea, Cobb comes in, or not Cobb, Woody. Wood comes in, Alex Wood. Then the hammer closers, Duvall. They got the Rogers brothers, the twins, right? Identical twins. One's a submariner from the right side, the other a lefty. I saw a statistic, and they are almost identical. Innings pitched, strikeouts, ERA. It's really kind of eerie to see that stat, right? I mean, they're identical twins, and their stats for the season on the same team are identical. Google that, you'll get a kick out of it. But great information there. Bottom of the least projected to pop, but interesting. Just because it says this doesn't mean. I mean, Wrigley's been down there, and I mean, if you have good hitters and they hit the ball, it's going to go out. This is just trying to give you, whether it's really favored to go out or if it's kind of neutral. But Petco, you've got Yu Darvish, as we showed, against powerful Oriole lineup when coming in lightly. There's been marine layer. I'm looking out the window. I mean, it's been, I don't know if it's El Nino or El Nina, one of them, but we haven't had a lot of sun here in seems like all summer. We've had brief days. We usually have May gray, June gloom, but the marine layer is thick. And I think that's what's happened over at Petco as well. That'll be a late afternoon game, probably early evening, probably 6 o'clock Pacific start. So that marine layer could favor the pitchers. As you saw, it may be someone you want to take a shot on. Here's some exciting news from Fantasy Sports Logic. We're currently in the midst of while they last. I saw a lot of activity, drafters, best ball, a lot of people posting about it on Twitter. Currently, $699.97 one time. What does it get you? Get you 10 while they last. $20 entries into the drafters. $2 million contest with an astonishing $300,000 first place prize up for grabs. I think it's 300 and 150. Pretty nice totals there. If you place high up in that contest, you get 10 opportunities with the $20 entries. You'll also get complimentary of drafters as a part of that $699.97 package, $100 deposit credit. You can use that for 5 more. That would give you 15 total, or you could use it in their other contests. That's up to you. You get a lifetime subscription to the Contrarian Edge Optimizer. I told you how it performed for yours truly the last couple of days. It's finally, after 8 months, an enormous amount of programming. I mean, I'm going to show you 7 live player projection data partners. Ballpark Pal is one of them. Our proprietary secret sauce blend. I don't think you can find that kind of value for what you're getting. that it's included. It's currently at $299.97 value. That'll eventually go up while we're in beta, but that's included in the $699.97. So you can sort of add all these things up and see what it's getting you to also allow you to participate in free, that is no cost tournament for these, what we're calling our VIP promo. You see it right there on the homepage of fantasysportslogic.com. We expect those prize packages to be very, very, very attractive, and you as a member will not have to pay to get into them. They'll be daily fantasy packages, probably for some baseball playoff stuff, for sure. For football, we've got baseball and the optimizer now, MLB, for people asking all sorts of questions. We're starting to get some great attention, well deserved after 8 months of patience. But most definitely some football contests, and then some NBA provided through drafters and Fantasy Sports Logic. And then one more thing to sweeten the deal is, though that wasn't enough, you'll be a part of an incredible rewards program. I talked about this. I'll continue to. Got a meeting today with Sportstopia, and there will be the opportunity to participate in a nice rewards program. The more that you show patronage, patronage is you play on a platform. If you're involved in DFS, you need a platform to play on. We have a nice partnership with drafters and a couple more in the works. You need a tool if you want to be competitive. Most of the best players in the world, and even the average players like myself and the beginners, figure it out sooner or later that if you don't have an algorithm, an optimizer, you are at a disadvantage. Of course, we provide that here at Fantasy Sports Logic. And you need information. And if you're like me, I mean, I go to different sites, right? And try to find the latest and greatest. So Sportstopia, you see a little clock down there. It is fueling your fantasy fire. What is it? It is going to be what we believe your go-to destination site for daily articles and videos relevant to anything and everything fantasy, MLB, NFL, NBA, PGA, and other sports. See, he made an announcement last week. Ed Williams, two-time Emmy Award winner and former content director, NBCSports.com and Roto World. He says, this is his quote, "I'm beyond excited to share that through Macklin Sports Media Consulting, I'll be joining me, Daryl Snyder, and my team to be our chief content officer of a new fantasy sports and gaming media platform called Sportstopia. Very anxious to roll up my sleeve, start building out our new content team." I have a meeting with that core team today. We are stoked about that. So as a VIP member, you will get access to not only this content, but there'll be premium content at no charge to those people that take advantage of the $699.97. So one other piece to that television network that I went into a nice partnership with Las Vegas Television Network and Buyer Sports streaming platforms, potentially over the next several months, as many as 40 million eyeballs. So why is that important? Well, if you're like me, Saturday game day college, Sunday pro, I turn on the TV and I watch those shows, right? To see if I can get some sort of edge. I'm a little different. So I kind of watch what everybody's thinking, and I tend to be contrarian. That's why the optimizer. So you get access to that. There's a movie coming out, The Game Within, History of Fantasy Sports. Cited Ed's going to be a contributor to that. Peter Schenke from RotoWire, the who's who and historians. It'll be a documentary with a docu-series. Super jazzed. You probably will get early access to that. Red carpet preview. Let's get to the optimizer. I've covered quite a bit. Hopefully you're following along with me, but definitely consider That's $699.97 while it lasts. Once those best ball entries are gone and that fills up, right now there's overlay. People like that. That means there's a lot more available entries than there are ones that have been taken, but we'll see how that shifts as we get closer to opening NFL football. There's some exhibition games this past weekend. Where's the optimizer? I've got Twitter opened up. Why? Here it is. Okay. In closing, this is the Contrarian Edge Optimizer provided by Fantasy Sports Logic, exclusive to Fantasy Sports Logic. And you can see Ballpark Pal, as I mentioned earlier, one of the 7 player projection partners simulating up to 3,000 game day slate outcomes. The Baker engine provided by Sports Data IO. It is the first time it's ever been offered for baseball. We are leveraging their 10,000 simulation. Also, Sports Data IO's legacy feed there with Charles. Great gentleman. We have FTN data with Frank, 40,000 simulations of any given Major League Baseball slate today, the 8 game. RotoWire, mentioned Peter Schinke, founded RotoWire. You got Shannon over there, great guy. They're about as well known as anybody in this space. Been involved with it for a long time. They provide an awesome player projection feed, Sport Radar with Dan Williams as well, a well-respected veteran, and Stats Perform with Corey, not to be left out. Combined, Stats Perform's been around since the 80s. There's over 100 years of experience in data analysts and providing projections. So get them all in one place here, and not just for baseball, like you're saying, but for football coming up, NBA, PGA, and who knows? I get requests for soccer, cricket, MMA, NASCAR. I don't know where we'll go. Probably leaning towards college football. I'm a big college football nut. Grew up near the University of Notre Dame, attended a lot of games, had season tickets at one time. I'm out here in California now. And everything, all the teams they've left. There's 4 left. And what is it, the Pac-4? Well, that's a whole other story. Anyways, let's slide this baby up so you can see what's going on. As I had said earlier, Glass now, like him a lot. So did the providers. Number 1 player projected, going to be owned. The secret isn't a secret that the Giants strike out for an enormous amount of time. Scherzer is priced a couple $100 more, but we have Glass now at almost 50% owned, and it wouldn't surprise me with the pitchers on the slate. Scherzer, obviously, Darvish in that marine layer, so Petco Park. You got Gilbert against those Royals at Kansas City. Max Fried, the lefty for the Braves, kind of like that one, 9,400. Merrill Kelly, always solid, but he's in Rockies, Coors Field, right? Not the best, but you could get different. His ownership only projected 18%. Everybody picks on the A's, so Mikolas, not surprising, 30% projected ownership. But look at the different. You see a 0, that's because it hasn't been updated by the provider. It will as this gets closer. This is for DraftKings main slate. You play FanDuel. You can play Turbo Night. You can do the Showdown slate. I'm going to show you some examples of the main pitchers you can lock in, guys. Like if I just say I want Glass now and all my 150s, that's pretty extreme. I may do it. I may not. I may go half him and Scherzer or mix and match at the top. I'll probably go down to, I don't know if I get down to Singer, although Seattle strikes out a lot. I mean, probably could get down to Rodriguez and above, but I mentioned him the other day and I sent him a message in Twitter. That Big T from Run Pure Sports. He's I think he just won another baseball championship, or he placed high. He's one of the top baseball DFS players in the world, and I subscribe to Run Pure Sports, not their optimizer partner, but their content. And he said something that has stuck with me, because you got to make a stand, right? You can't just, I mean, this is built to get you diverse with the auto stack attack. But if you make a stand and you fade some teams and you lock in certain pitchers, if they click, which the numbers show you who's favored to click, then you have a better shot, right? So that Saturday slate, I locked in 2 and I let them fly, and it paid off well. Yesterday, how many did I lock? 4. I mixed and matched with 4. Played it a little bit different. I had a little bit different strategy yesterday in the afternoon, and there's only 4 games. And again, it played well, but let me show you what some possibilities are. I'll just see what it's going to point out. I won't lock anybody in. I mean, the top position players, no surprise, Corbin Carroll and Coors Field, going to be popular, probably has the highest projection because of where he's playing, right? Coors, Acuna, Judge, Walker. You got 2 Diamondbacks there. You got Ohtani, Tatis. I mean, the guys you would think, right? I talked about Alonso in that Pittsburgh game. Let's see, ownership only 12.8. May take a flyer on him. You got the Pirates we talked about. Reynolds, you can see the different, it shows you, right? Go to Glass now. The lowest projected is Stats Perform, which they're normally lower than everybody with their projections. I'd call them more conservative. 15 points still for Glass now. The highest is FP1. That's the Baker engine simulating all those strikeouts 10,000 times. They've got Glass now at almost 26 points. So what am I going to do? 8-game slate. I'm going to go into full-blown stack attack. I'm going to say 5 players from a team. Letting it calculate here. You want to let this do its thing. Wait till you get an orange. There it is there. And you can exclude opposing pitchers. I didn't lock anybody, but you can exclude them from who the optimizer picks up. I'm going to let it see if it gives me orange again. And then you can individually, like if you just say, I just want to smash stack the Giants, not today, against Glass. You would be different if the Giants took out Glass now. I would bet your ownership with everybody on that team is going to be less than 10%, probably closer to 5. So I mean, you never know. 1 lineup or 10 lineups out of a 150. That $3 mini max is 100,000 total today. 10K up top. Probable? No. But you don't know. I was just making light of that. Probably smash stack if you wanted to individually. Talked about Arizona. They'll be real popular. The Braves, never a bad play. I mean, if you can get to them, they're super expensive. If you stack the Braves, you're going to get some obviously least expensive pitchers. But I'm going to do what we've created. I'm going to auto. I'm going to just let it do its thing. I didn't go into pro settings. I could fade teams. I didn't lock anybody. Like I say, I could say I only want Glass now and Scherzer. I'm not going to get a 5 Brave stack if I do that. It's impossible unless they have some guy starting that's $2,000 today. You're not going to get your max 5 of Acuna, Olsen, their top 5 Albies, Harris. You will get a mix. If I wanted to go Braves, I could drop it to 4. See, it's calculating here. We update every 30 minutes to watch that. These come in throughout the day. Certain things will happen. Some guys are strapped. So other guys are added. You want to make sure you pay attention. There's orange, came back. Stack attack mode is off. I'm going to turn it on. And what does that mean? That means it's going to get like super diverse on its own. Like it's going to go out on an 8-game slate. And because I didn't fade anybody, I could have faded the A's. That Zach, he might be a guy I'd want to try to get into some lineups. Normally the A's are cheap. I didn't see, where's he at? The A's. Winsky's 3,300. That's a nice play. Talked about him. McCutcheon 3,600. Sorry about the noise outside. If you can hear it, looking for Zach Gila from Soto. All your typical players that are normally projected high. Where are you? Where are you, Zach? That's an A. It's only 3,000. Blade, J Blade. Nice name, huh? It just rolled off the tongue. Let's see Zach on there, but anyway, you could have went into pro settings. It's ready to go. Let me show you pro option. You can go on here. We've updated this. We'll continue to. If I wasn't using auto stack attack, I could individually go in and do some different things. I'm not. I created auto to be for dummies like Daryl. Dumb it down to Daryl. I told the team, make it so if he clicks, I'm showing you all. I mean, if I wanted to say no A's, where are they? Don't give me any A's. I'll just hope that Zlop and Blade, JJ Blade, don't go off and hurt me today. Who else? What if I was going to fade my Giants? Probably. I mean, come on. They got, I mean, the announcers are so, if you've ever listened to the Giants on KMBR, I have the MLB app, right? You got John Miller, Kukoc, and Cup, Fleming. I mean, those four, I think the top four of a team, and they just like, they're so funny. They're after games, you know. Come on, you can start hitting. It's been gut wrenching. So if I wasn't going to play any Giants and I wanted to play Glass now, it just condenses things, right? Anybody else played Colorado in their park against Kelly? That's probably not the, you know, a bad thing to do. I mean, Kelly's he's a decent pitcher. So in the Rockies, they are not the gas house gang of 2023. So you kind of get it, right? Kansas City, again, I'd be fading Witt, but I just want to show you some of this, right? I'm going to save. Okay, it's calculating again. You always want to wait till it does its thing with all these things happening with the algorithm in the background, right? Wait till it turns orange over here. If I wanted to, and I just, like I say, I wanted to go with 2 pitchers. I could. I want to see it mix in some Braves just to see what kind of pitching options it gives me. I could say I don't want Ryan Walker. I'm probably going to take him out when it stops calculating. He's a Giants opener, and he's not going to factor. I would take away the Rockies pitcher because I gave it so many things in pro settings. It's figuring out how to fade those players from those teams. Okay, we're getting close. Looks like it. Things came a long ways. The more you ask it to do, the more, I mean, 8-game slate, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of potential stack options. Got contrarian mode on. You can turn that off. It's going to get you a little different on some of the, you can only stack up to 5x. So you got to play 3 other players, position, and 2 pitchers in the DraftKings contest that I play in. Obviously different in the showdown slates. I might have wanted to. I know one time I thought they fast forwarded to. I might have hit the pro settings after I locked the auto, which I should have done it before. There's certain order which to do things. If I can go back, let me upgrade it. Let me refresh it real quick and do it the other way. Lock it in. We go to pro settings first. What did I fade? I faded Rockies, Giants, Royals, A's, save. See if I can make it go faster before I lock it into auto. There we go. I got that. Now I'm going to go to 5. Remember what I did, right? I went in pro settings if I wanted to fade first to skip it. It does. Go 5. Why 5, you say? There, went fast. Typically, if one of the teams out of the 16 playing in the 8-game slate minus the ones I faded, that's the risk you take, scores 10, 11, 12 runs or more, then I could have faded the Rays as well, knowing the Giants bullpen game. But their pitching has been great. But anyways, I'm showing you this for an example. 5 players from a team that happens to go off, you have a greater probability to be above the money line, especially with what we created here. Let me see if it's going faster for you. There it is. It looks like it's going to do its thing. It's got generate lineup, back attack mode. I flipped to on. If I wouldn't have, it could have had more max exposure. I wanted to be, because I faded certain teams. Again, I would probably go back and maybe even fade the offense for the Rays in that matchup. I like the Giant bullpen. I mean, look it up. I think they're one of the top in the league. Very few weaknesses. Maybe, I mean, Alex Wood even super competitive this year. But okay, show me something good, you guys are saying, after all this wait. Here we go. There it is. Stack attack mode with a lot of variety. You got Glass now and Scherzer. Wow. How about that for pitchers in the blend, right? You see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the blend. You said, well, you have 7. You got a little slider here, right? On the other side of RotoWire, we got Sport Radar, Sports Data IO, Stats Perform. Look at the different. You got Gilbert Rodriguez, Yu Darvish and Gilbert, Merle Kelly. We talked about him. He would be different in Colorado, although I don't think people will fade him against that not so powerful Rocky lineup. Got Freed for Atlanta. And then the proprietary Secret Sauce blend. Let's get back to it. If I can hit the arrow in the right direction, we will. There it is. Look at that. Glass now and Scherzer. You got the top 2 pitchers with a Met stack. You got Lindor, Corbin Carroll. That is a good looking lineup. You don't have the Power Alonso for the Mets. But you got McCutchen, a Pirate. You've got Rodriguez, Pirate catcher. You got McNeil, Ventos, Lindor, Ortega. He had a decent game yesterday. And then you got Corbin Carroll as one of your off guys in Rocky Force Field. So let's say, okay, I like the looks of this. Glass now and Scherzer. Show me. I mean, I could do 150 and it'll show me 150 different variations. None of the lineups will be the same. They'll all be stacked. They won't all be Glasnow and Scherzer, but they will be included in there. Let's see what happens. I'm really putting it to the test today. It's going to work on max exposure. It's going to show me what's it doing with the 150. I'm going to throw a CSV file up to the right, which I could download if I wanted to. Not sure. Now this. Right? You say, well, what is that? There's a CSV file. If I clicked on that, it would go up into DraftKings for me. I could use it with a simple click of the button to fill all 150. I'd want to make sure I edited it later for any scratches. But what are we talking about? We're talking no open lineups, right? I faded them. 13 Tampa Bay stacks. Again, I could have faded them. That's against my Giants. I probably won't play that against. So I could fade them. I got 13 Braves, 13 Rangers, 13 Yankees, 13 D-backs, 13 Padres, 12 Mariners. No Giants, right? I faded them. 12 Mets, 12 Pirates, 12 Orioles, 12 Angels, 12 Cardinals, right? And then some mixes in there. I mean, this thing is like freaky cool, right? If you want exposure to, I call it more coverage, right? If you want coverage and you're just looking for one, I mean, would you be unhappy if you played a 150 max? And it doesn't have to be the $3, it can be a 50 cent, like I did over the weekend, or $1. It could be the dime game. I think they offer 150 per dime. What if just one of those? In the case of me Saturday, I got second and third with two of the lines. I didn't care if the others crashed and burned, right? I was looking to get one of those lineups to the top because these max 150s are so top heavy, right? I mean, tonight in the $3, which I'm going to target, $10,000 on top, 450 total. If I do 150 max, this allow me to have the greatest opportunity. I'm not saying my strategy fading those teams is good. I am going to tell you that leaf blower, whatever I hear out there, is bugging me. Hold on. Bear with me. Monday landscape. But you get the idea, right? And I could have gotten, again, Big T, I could have gotten more. I could stand more. I could say I want Glasnow and Scherzer in every lineup. And just get me as much smash diversity, right, on who I don't fade. The risk is it either Glasnow or Scherzer don't go off, right? At those prices, I'm looking for them to get me into the 20s at least, mid-20s, maybe 30, and I'm golden. I would have a high probability, but if either one gets smoked, Scherzer against the Rangers, it's not impossible. Glasnow against the Giants, that's probably more not going to happen, but you never know. They're all pros. But you could do that, right? And you would have a nice opportunity. Again, disclaimer, we don't guarantee anything. These are strategies. It's about providing data. It's about beyond providing data, talking about, oh, look what it did. This is crazy. They just put this in here. Look at, you can see all your lineups, right? Like that CSV, if I had clicked on it, it would have shown me 150 number variations. Those are player numbers that match. But this is the lineup: Darvish and Gilbert, Darvish and Gilbert. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 8, and then 9, 10, 11 with Darvish and Gilbert. And you got Darvish and Smith. You got Gilbert and Kelly. Are you getting it? You're not. You know, here your risk of 1 or 2 pitchers getting smoked, you're still in. You still have a live lineup with a stack. Look at that one, Ohtani, with Arizona stack in Coors Field, right? You guys are probably all taking screenshots, and why subscribe? I'm giving you the information. I won't do this every day, but you can access this $1 7 days at the Fantasy Sports Logic. If you like what you see, and that noise is driving me crazy. Hopefully it's not coming through your headset, but if it is, I apologize. They, they wait till you start a podcast and then they have the weed whackers out there. $1, 7 days. We don't auto upgrade you. If you like what you see, and we know you will, you can go monthly $29.97, or you can go lifetime one time, never pay again. All sports, baseball now, football being loaded in. Can you tell them to be quiet? That's annoying. What are they doing? Yeah, sounds like they're tree trimming or something. $299.97 forever. I mean, all the sports. There was another window open that may help. Or the promotional package, while available, $699.97. You get the optimizer for life, all those goodies that I showed you earlier. But it's cool. I mean, you tell me where you can see all of this information, all of these providers. They're going to be there for football, except for Ballpark Pal. You can have the same. They're going to be there for NBA in one place. One price, all this value. I don't believe it exists, but there are some amazing optimizers out there. I'm not knocking any of them. Most of the pros use something. I just wanted something different because I'm different, and I wanted it to be affordable, and I wanted it to be understandable. There's Glass now. Look at Glass now, Scherzer. What do we stack here? Pirates. That's a nice lineup. Swensky, Davis, McCutcheon, Contreras. You got some pop at catcher. I mean, it's doing what it took 8 months to do, and it's exciting and it's working. Worked for me the last 2 days. Tomorrow I'll be able to share with you how I performed or how it performed today. But some nice mixes. Mikolas against those A's. I faded all the A's, so that wouldn't be a bad. Darvish against the Orioles. I mean, they're not impossible to hold them down, but and with the Marine layer, they have got a nice team. So Glass now, Scherzer again. What did it give me here? I did. It went exactly what I said. There's an Orioles mix of, how many do we get? We got 5. We got Hayes, Mullins. Mullins had a great game yesterday and a great catch. Gunnar, Henderson, Urias, Frazier. So you get 5 Orioles. They happen to light up you, Mr. Darvish, with Glass now, Scherzer. And then you've got a McCarthy with some speed and a little bit of pop playing in Coors, Contreras against the A's. Always a nice play at catcher. And who's the Vogelbach? He's a lefty, batting in the 5 hole in that Mets game. I like that. Again, there's so many, good stuff. Good stuff. So hopefully it enlightened you to the possibilities of getting different with a stack attack mode. You could have done it with 4. I like 5. It's the size slate. The smaller the slate, the less you may want to risk and go 5 stack. I had some questions over the weekend in Twitter. What about single entries? Yes, you want to get more blend, right? You can make this thing do whatever you want it to do. I don't have to stack 5. I can go up to 2. I don't have to auto. I don't have to do stack attack. I can just target one team. You can do whatever you want to do. You can hand pick. Big T, I keep mentioning him. He's not so much an optimizer guy. He's more of a hand pick guy, and he's done really well, really well. So learned a lot from him. Okay, there's the chart again. Watch this throughout the day. It will change. The zeros will fill in as other providers update. I have a feeling unless one of them scraps, the class now would happen to be scraps, and obviously this slate changes against the Giants, Scherzer, you, Gilbert. You get the idea. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to do what I know a lot of you look forward to me doing. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to end the recording, and I'm going to render this. It'll be available on our Twitter channel. It'll be available free on our blog inside the Contrarian Edge Optimizer. I don't see, yeah, it'll be right here. You see, it just told me that the projections are going to be updated. Here's the blog. Here's the homepage. If you haven't been here, fantasysportslogic.com. There it talks about that announcement, promotion. It's also there. Nice little video, short, 2 minutes, talks about the 7-day test drive. There's more details. There's a lot of partners that I mentioned. There's all sorts of little information, examples of what is possible. But if you go to the blog every day, Brandon and I, unless he is on assignment like today, we put it out here for you. So go over the charts, go over the optimizer. I'm going to end it now. Hopefully you're having an amazingly awesome, super spectacular, and most important, prosperous DFS Monday.